everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lena Simple G, this time with a Warframe video. Now in this video I'll be talking and reviewing Heart of Deimos. Now Heart of Deimos came out 3 weeks ago? A month ago? No, I don't think it's been a month yet. It's been 3 weeks and I've been playing it ever since, and it's really good. I really enjoyed this update. Now I'm going to talk first about the quest, and then I'm going to talk about the different missions and additions that they made to the game. Now the quest is really simple. I was amazed to see that this quest did not count on a lot of grind and a lot of waiting to, you can take something back to the orbiter and you have to build it and wait like a day or two to come back and do Deimos. No, this is just you can do, in one afternoon you can do this entire quest, which is really good. You go through all the different family members. You almost feel like a, a family therapist or a marriage counsel in the middle of all of this. But it's nice to see that, there's a little depth to the game instead of just, oh, go kill this enemy or go find me this object or something. There's a little bit of help that you're giving to these characters, to this family. So yeah, I really enjoyed this take on this quest. Also, the fact that it was fast and it always presented you with something new to do for each one of the family members was really cool. Now, the quest did present a few bugs. I had a bug where daughter did not finish her lines. She could not finish. She started talking, but then she stopped. Thankfully, I had subtitles on, so I could see what it was. There was also another thing that you can do was I could enter to talk to Lloyd with my Warframe. Usually you have to in the game you have to use the operator to enter that room, but somehow during the quest I could just enter with my Warframe. I don't know if it was deliberate or if it was a bug. I don't know if it's fixed or not, but it's just one of those things. Also, one of the things that I noticed was when I went to fight the Necromech, I entered the cave with my K drive and I left it there. So when I was returning, and you have that phase where you have to pass through the Necromech without being seen. Well, I just got on my K drive and passed through them. I'm sure this is it's not an exploit, but it's kind of a problem that they have. They didn't thought about, what if a person is on a K drive? Well, if you're on a K drive, the Necromech will not attack you and will not detect you. Although to get out of the tile, you need to leave the K drive. If you try to leave the entire tunnel with a K drive, once you get out, the mission will be a fail. So you need to, pass the Necromech with the K drive, then you dismount the K drive and you follow on foot, and that's where you get the bounty successfully finished. Also, as soon as Heart of Deimos dropped, and speaking of K drives, I immediately tried to fire on my K drive with the primary, secondary, and all that, and it wasn't working. I know they patched this up because it is working now. You can fire with your secondary weapon, but right on the when the update dropped, it wasn't working, and I was really salty about it because it was one of those things that I've been asking for, since K drives appeared, and I think it's really useful, and it is, and it's working now. So I'm really happy with this feature that they updated. They introduced another thing that they introduced with the Heart of Deimos was, of course, the new tile set, the new planet. It's not as big as Cetus or as Fortuna. Fortuna is the biggest one yet, but it is the most diverse. It's so complex and labyrinth-like that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that. You think you're in a place, but you're in another place, and they all look the same, but they're not. There's also a ravine in the middle of it. There's this big protuberance right when you get out, which is the cerebral magma, and it's kind of hard inside it. There's so much little things to explore. Although it's a smaller set, it doesn't look all the same like Fortuna. In Fortuna, all the trees look the same, everything looks the same. This one is okay that they look similar, they all look same, but they're not exactly the same. You can't find exactly the same rock formation or the same tumor formation everywhere. It's always a little bit different, and I really enjoyed it. I just went up to one place and just looked around. And I was amazed at what I was looking in. It was really good. It was the open planet, the open world with Infested was one thing that I was hoping for a long time. It did not disappoint. It did not disappoint me in that regard. I really enjoyed it. I also enjoy that this has particular enemies that you cannot see anywhere. Like I said, unlike Cetus and Fortuna, the enemies that you see there are pretty much the corpus and the Grenier that you see everywhere else. I mean, sure they have different colors, and sure they have they are weak against other types of elemental, like the Grenier on Cetus are weak against radiation, while the other ones are against corrosive. I think. So it's good. But they didn't really introduce new enemies. Besides the Thumper, which is like a random enemy that appears, random big enemy. It doesn't really have like they don't have a really like a new type of enemy, like a mecha or like a tank or anything introduced in either Fortuna or Cedar or the Plains of Islands. And I really think they should have. I mean, it really cool for the Grenier to have like this. Maybe like an arachnoid, a mechanic arachnoid that you can fight. It just serves with the troops. Not like a Thumper. The Thumper is really big and it jumps all over the place, and I hate it. It's a nice enemy. It's a nice introduction enemy, but it's not. It's not in the bases. It's not guarding the Grenier. It's not patrolling with the Grenier. It's not that type of enemy. And also in Fortuna, it'll be nice if they have some kind of bipedal mechanical thing. Just to when they go on patrols, that thing goes with them, or they're guarding a certain cave or something to be in it, just to have different enemies that you cannot fit in the regular tiles to be here, because this tile has no ceiling. They can have bigger enemies like they did with Deimos in the Cambion Drift. The infested enemies, of course, you have the runners and the chargers and all that, but also you have these mountains and these giant worms that they're there because they couldn't fit them in the regular tiles, but they could fit them there. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed to have these new enemies, these new mechanics, these guys that, most of them throw everything at you, which I'll be talking more ahead. But it's really good. It's really good to go to a place and see a new place and see new enemies, to find out new ways to find them and all that. That's really cool. Oh, another thing that's cool is that they introduced the Steel Path mission here. I haven't gone back to the Plain of the Islands to see this or to Fortuna to see if the same mission is there. I believe it is, but you have to check for yourselves because I haven't, because I'm fucking lazy. But yeah, I was really happy that they introduced this mission to, so that veteran players really get a sense of challenge and also a sense of reward playing this, and just as being the same mechanical thing over and over and over again. I'll be honest, I'll just play the Steel Path missions because they give me a lot more mother medallions, and also because the other missions all they give me is the Shaku parts, and once you get that, which I did, I just leave and all I do is Steel Path. So I really like all these features that's introduced. Now, that said, let me tell you what I didn't like. I don't like the tendrils. Those things that fly around and they suck you on the head, they grab you on the head. It's not that because they fly around and they attack you like that. It's because they also fire and they are not visible on radar. So what happens many times, especially in Steel Path missions, is you start fighting some kind of enemies or in the middle of enemies, and your energy start going down, and you realize, well, what the hell is going on? This enemy is not hitting me. There's no enemy that I can see that's hitting me. And it's one of those things, or maybe more than one, that's flying around and shooting at you. I mean, they're just shooting at you. If you then expose yourself, they might or get too close. They might attack you, get you and suck your head, and that's really cool. The animation and what happens, and you just by the way, to get rid of it, you just have to roll. But the problem is that they also shoot, and I don't like it because in Steel Path, when you have 1,000 of them, you don't know where they are. They don't appear on radar unless you have some kind of CC working for you or you have some kind of invulnerability. Those things will eat up your health really, really fast. Another thing that heats up not your health, but your patience is Latrox. Now, Latrox soon is the Corpus researcher that's gathering up samples to beam them up to the Corpus ship or something like that. This isn't the only. My frustration with it is this isn't the only mission with samples. There's another mission where you collect samples and then you put them in an infusion, but those sample drops are really easy to get. You just kill any enemy around you and you can get them really, really fast. But with Latros Un, you can't. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just something connected with the mission drops or something connected with the character. Maybe you have to kill enemies that are close to him. I feel that's that's the method that I use that seems to have a little bit more of leeway in terms of getting those drops, because it takes forever to get those drops. I mean, I feel that it's like the most boring mission of all of of all the missions that they introduced. This is by far the one that bores me the most, and I think it bores every player. And there was also a bug right at the beginning. I don't know if it was a bug, or if it was something like, again, something that they had to tweak on those knobs, and maybe less or more, I don't know. Which is, every time he tried to beam those samples up, he always failed. Now, I've done it with Limbo, and I've done it with Frost, and the bubble didn't get shattered, and they did not get into the Limbo with stasis, but somehow he could not beam up the entire samples. Or if he did, he just missed the little challenge where you have to beam them all in that particular time. Now that has been fixed. I now played several times, and we can beam up the samples at a reasonable speed, but the drop chances are still pretty low. And I'm just comparing it with the mission with the infusion, because with the infusion the samples drop really, regularly. But with Lace Monsoon, you sometimes 2 minutes just destroying everything around it, and not one of them drop, or just drops maybe one. And it takes way too long. I feel that they're just stretching the time of the player doing that mission, the time the gameplay, and you're just there spamming your fourth or your third or somewhere, and it's really boring just trying to look for enemies, trying to find out if they drop. They could have done something like a bigger enemy maybe drops 2 or 3. I know that the balloons sometimes drop 3, but those balloons, the infested balloons, but taking out an infested balloon when you're at high level steel path, it's pretty complicated. Unless you have a Mirage with a Braum or something like that, it's not a viable solution. So it'll be cool if maybe the smaller ones drop 1, maybe the bigger ones drop 2 or 3. Those mountains that we have to fight, which are really hard to, well, they're not so hard now if you have the proper build, but they can be complicated to take down if there's too many of them. Maybe those maybe drop 3 samples. I don't know, maybe something just not to make this mission so boring, because Latros Un is the worst mission. I hate it. Because once I see him in and of course he's always in Steel Path, I just go like, ugh, we're gonna be in this forever. So yeah, it's not fun. Now talking about the isolation vaults, they're really cool. I really enjoy isolation vaults because I already enjoyed mobile defense and extermination missions. So this is a bit of combination of both, where you have to, first you have to gather a bunch of resources, then you have to defend the bait station, then you get the bait station down and you have to kill enemies for a period of time. That's actually the most difficult part, which is to maintain the toxicity level down. I had at least one time where we missed the mission because we couldn't kill them fast enough, but of course it was the last vault, the third vault. Mission had, I know we just had two AoE frames and we could not coordinate very well. So yeah, that to me is the hardest part, just kill them fast enough. But I do like the mission for one particular reason. It is not like the Aileron runs or the Orb Mother or anything like that. You do not have to have the meta for this. There's not like, oh, you have to take the Rubicon, the Lunken, you have to take the Volt, and you have to take the Harrow, and you have to take the Chroma. No, it's nothing like that. You can do it with any frame, with any combination of frames, as long as they're prepared for it. And that's what I really love about this. Yeah, also you can do them back to back, and they are incrementally, well, I wouldn't say hard, but they are challenging. Each room has a different puzzle, which to me I love. I love the exploration, the fact that you have to figure out how to do certain things to open certain portals or certain doors or something like that. And in the first vault you get 1 necromech, in the second vault you get 2 necromechs, in the third you have 3 necromechs. And in each one of these vaults that you enter, you find a different puzzle. Sometimes there's no puzzle, or maybe you just haven't figured it out yet. But it's really cool. I really enjoy that there is no proper meta for this. I mean, there's just fun. It's just fun, and just fun or speedrun with it. I would advise for you, of course, to take a Nova, because you have to kill a lot of things, and fast. But it's not a case of, oh, you have to take this frame or take these weapons. No, you can just take whatever you want, as long as you're comfortable with it, as long as they're powerful enough, and as long as your team coordinates well, which I gotta say most of them do. It works out fine, unless there's bugs. Isolation Vault has a lot of bugs. I mean, it has bugs. The last time I played for over an hour. I did like 5 or 6 volts, and only once did I got to volt 3. And even that we couldn't pass because of the toxicity level that we couldn't keep low enough. Everything else is just, you know, we either cannot start the mission, we can't get in the vault, we can get. I couldn't get. I got on the operator side. I got my operator out, and then I couldn't get him in. I couldn't even open my options menu to just leave the squad. I couldn't do anything. You know, this happens to a lot of people. A lot of people are complaining about it. They really need to look at this. I think it's one of the reasons they are working on is compressing the files, the size of the files, but also trying to improve performance. Because I gotta tell you right now, if I use Larva with Nidus inside one of those vaults, the game will run at like 1 frame every 3 seconds. It will really, really, really slow down. And this is on PS4. I'm not talking about PC. This is on PS4, so it's really complicated to get the game running smoothly inside these vaults. So yeah, it's something they need to address, because you know usually you can do this 3 volts in like maybe 20-30 minutes with an average team. Well, it doesn't have to be a top team. An average team will do it. But once you have all these problems like I did, you know, it's just frustrating, because now I need 5 Hurricane Ballistic Matrix or something like that, and those only drop on the 2nd vault. So yeah, it's frustrating to try and get those, and you couldn't even get to the 1st vault sometimes. So yeah, it's something they need to look at. Oh, by the way, on the bright side, I do enjoy that they finally put a Requiem puzzle in there. Now, this was something I was talking about ever since they introduced the Requiem Requiem mods. Yes, yeah, I really enjoyed that they introduced this mechanic for the isolation vaults. It's like I said, isolation vaults really gathers every Warframe in one mission, in a combination of missions that works very well. It is a little bit challenging. It's not hard. The necromechs can be a little bit daunting, but by the way, in case you don't know, you need to destroy the arms of the necromech before you destroy him. If you take explosive weapons, it's the easiest way, because you can just blow, you know, by giving damage to his body, you can blow up on one of the arms or the other. So it works very well. So yeah, all in all, I really, really enjoy Heart of Deimos. The progression system is still the same as in the other ones, so you know, to get everything for those syndicates, you do have to have a little bit of grind. This is something that they have not, I wouldn't say fixed, but they haven't really made any major change to it, or maybe they haven't addressed it. It's just decided, okay, let's just give it. Keep it like it was, and I'd rather they keep it like it is, with familiar missions and familiar progressions and familiar factions, and just tweak a little bit, you know, different missions or maybe different enemies, then to do what they tried to do, is to create a whole new system with a whole new mechanics and drops and random drops and all that, like I did with the Lich, and that was terrible. That was terrible. So yeah, I'm really happy. Maybe I'm happy because, you know, the previous updates were really bad in most people's opinions. In my opinion, this was really good. But I'm really hopeful to see what comes next from Digital Extremes. With this update, now we'll have a new war, or the Very Pirate Box, which has been pushed to next year. But all in all, I'm really, really happy with our Deimos. I was already happy with what I saw on TennoCon, and this update did not disappoint. You know, there's a few bugs, like as always, and there's some tweaks to be made, but I'm really happy with what we got. So, this has been the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please like and subscribe, and as always, have a great game, guys.